Yes, this is Pius Libo, the village teacher. Today we are going to share something, and I believe that sharing is caring. That's why I have come out to share with you something. What I want to share with you is already on my presentation board, and that's it. Although before we start sharing, we need to understand the meaning of although. What does it mean? How do we use it? That's when we shall be in position to use it effectively. I believe there are some students who are watching this. There are some people who would also like to learn how best we can use although. Here we are. So today, when we are talking about although, we are going to talk about a conjunction. When we talk about although, we mean a conjunction. And that conjunction is under what we call subordinating conjunction. But before we go to subordinating conjunction, we need to understand the meaning of the word conjunction. Conjunction is a joining word. It means that it is used to join sentence to a sentence, or it is used to join a phrase to a phrase. That is what we call conjunction. We are not going to join clauses because if at all you want to join a clause, you can bring a sewing machine and use a thread to join a piece of a cloth to another piece of a cloth. But here we are dealing with joining of sentences. That's why you see that when we talk about conjunctions, we mean the words which are used to join sentences or phrases. Remember, when we are talking about conjunction, there are three basic conjunctions that we commonly use. That is to say, coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions. Wonderful. Coordinating conjunctions are those conjunctions which are used to join sentences of the same word. They are having a mutual relationship in them. And then we have subordinating conjunctions, the conjunctions which are used to join sentences of different weight. They do not have a mutual relationship in them. Then we have correlative conjunctions, the conjunctions which are used to join sentences, or as you hear correlative, they are supposed to be used probably in a pair or more than a pair. They do move hand in hand. So when we talk about although falls under what we call subordinating conjunction. Subordinating conjunction, I remember it is used to join sentences of different weight. For example, we shall look at our example, which is written here, that Florence woke up early. Florence woke up early. This implies that there was a certain purpose why Florence woke up early. Now, when we look at this sentence, we are going to have briefly two probable outcomes out of her waking up early. The first one is she caught the bus. The second one is she did not catch the bus. These sentences are correlating with the one which has been said earlier on as Florence woke up early. But when we do correlate this first one to this one, it means that they are having the same weight. That is not our area of interest because we are joining although which is used to join a sentence of different weight. When you say she woke up early, she caught the bus, it means that now the sentences are on the weight scale and they are balancing because the major purpose of Florence waking up early was to catch the bus, which she succeeded in, which means those sentences are having a mutual relationship. But if at all we come to sentence number two and we say she did not catch the bus, now that one brings in what we call difference in their weight because she woke up early, all of a sudden she comes to miss the bus. Now there are some circumstances like that So this sentence is not going to be our interest. We are interested in the sentence whereby we are going to compare things of different weight. Therefore, this is the sentence which we are going to use in our example of the talk. So here we are having two sentences. Florence woke up early. She did not catch the bus. Remember, we are having now two sentences, but we have to connect them using although. So when we are connecting those sentences, we have to ensure that we know the principles which are used when we are connecting these sentences. For example, here, if at all we want to connect this sentence, we have to discover that when we are using although, we can either use it at the beginning of the sentence or at the middle of the sentence. Here, we are having a sentence has already been connected or joined together. So we have, although woke up early, you see there is a punctuation mark. It means that there is a certain kind of pause. She did not catch the bus. Now we have joined now the sentence. It's now one. And we have joined it using the conjunction although, which means she tried her best to wake up. All of a sudden, she did not succeed in getting the bus. So that was the most unfortunate thing. So these sentences are not carrying the same, but that's why we have used it although. Similarly, we can join this sentence in this form. Florence did not catch the bus, although she woke up early. That is also another alternative. So for that matter, therefore, let us put it here so that we can see it clearly. Florence did not catch the bus, although she woke up early. That is a very good example, which means that when we are using although, we can use it at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. So that in the middle of the sentence. For example, when we're using it in the middle of the sentence, it means that we're not going to use a comma which separates the two sentences. Here we have separated the two sentences by using a comma simply because we already began with it, although here we are going to ignore the comma because the conjunction is already used in the middle of the sentence. Now take note that when you are using although, there is what we call the major sentence and then the resulting sentence. Now this is the major sentence, this is the resulting sentence. She woke up early. She did not catch the bus. When you're using although, you have to ensure that you use it before the major sentence, like the way we have it here. We have put although and then we place the major sentence. And then we concluded with the resulting sentence. Similarly, when we are using it in the middle of the sentence, we have to ensure that we begin with the result sentence such that we put although and it moves together with the original sentence. This is what we call the use of although. It means that it is used to compare sentences which are not having the same relationship. We can continue and look at a very simple example. For example, we have Annette. We are having another sentence. Annette is a very beautiful lady. She is not admired by any man. So these sentences are having difference in relationship. When you compare the beauty of Annette and not being admired by any man, it brings a certain kind of question. That's what we call sentences which do not carry the same weight. So when you're joining these sentences, you have to ensure that you begin with what we call, although, if you're using it at the beginning, although Annette is a very beautiful lady, she is not admired by any man. That is how it applies. Although Annette is a very beautiful lady, she is not admired by any man. That's very unfortunate. So, similarly, we can use it in the middle of the sentence. Annette is not admired by any man. Now, the one she is going to become Annette because you cannot use a pronoun before talking about a noun which is Annette. So we can say Annette is not admired by any man, although she is a very beautiful lady. Although is used to join sentences which are of different weight. You have to ensure that you master. Is it having the same weight? Is it having the same mutual relationship between it? When you make the relationship between the beauty, you would expect every man to be admiring Annette, but it is coming to be the opposite. That's very unfortunate for Annette. That's why you see that these sentences are not carrying the same weight. So for that matter, therefore, we do categorize it under subordinating conjunction. That is what we had for, although there are very many other sentences which can be used, or other words which can be used to join sentences of the same weight. For that matter, therefore, I wish you the best. Thank you for being good watchers and for being good listeners. You are very, very special to me.